Patrick Zweig and Art Donaldson are besties. They went to the same boarding school. They grew up together. Patrick even taught Art how to milk the one-eyed snake. They're close. Really close. Doubles partners close. But everything changed when Tashi attacked. When the boys both decided to romantically pursue the tennis phenomenon Tashi Duncan. Everyone is hot in this movie. Art has your classic preppy jock guy look, Patrick is your charming, scruffy, homeless puppy, and Tashi is your lean, mean, muscular business lady type. Everyone's real cute and sweaty in this Euro-stylized rom-dram about American tennis players. Art and Patrick win their doubles tournament and decide to compete for Tashi's attention at the Adidas after-party. Tashi and the boys have a philosophical discussion about tennis as the waves roll in and out on this Long Island beachfront. Patrick thinks hitting a ball is a great way to avoid doing a real job. Tashi likens tennis to the concept of a pure relationship, and Art has never heard anything like a woman scream in triumph before. Such a sheltered boy. The trio moves things to Art and Patrick's crappy motel room, and Tashi teases them into playing a little kissing game with her. She leads the boys to make out with each other, and driven by carnal sensuality, they continue to mack until Tashi is satisfied. Before she heads home for the night, the boys ask her for her number, and she says the winner of tomorrow's tournament can have it because
I want to watch some good fucking tennis.
The next day, Patrick uses his big dick energy to win the final match against Art. After seeing her on the Stanford tennis courts, Art takes Tashi out to lunch, where he marvels at how she and Patrick are still dating a year in. Tashi grows suspicious of this statement. At first, Art obfuscates his intent, but then declares that Patrick isn't in love with her. She claps back.
What makes you think I want someone to be in love with me?
Art says that she deserves to be loved, and Tashi realizes what he's getting at. He's the worst friend in the world. Dropping by from his life on the road, and fueled by his love for his best friend, Patrick chases Art all over the tennis court. They head to the cafeteria, where Donaldson fetches some yummy churros, and Zweig fixes the seating arrangement to create a more intimate setting. Over discussion about Tashi, Art tries to poison the water between his buddy and his romantic interest, but Patrick is all for these mind games. He's happy his bestie is passionate about something. It's what's been missing from his tennis. Patrick and Tashi go for some chonies-on college sex. To get themselves going, they talk about art and tennis. Tashi makes an observation about Patrick.
What's your problem? You always think you won before the match is over.
Patrick gets mildly offended, and Tashi does a power move. She stops making out with him and starts stretching for her upcoming match. Patrick doesn't want to coach, and Tashi's not interested in being his sexy cheerleader. She kicks him out. The Duncanator is playing against a girl who was the best tennis player at her high school when she dives for the ball and fucks up her knee. Art jumps to the rescue and accompanies her to the Stanford Medical Bay. After Tashi gets bandaged up, Patrick manifests, only to face rejection from the two people he loves the most.
Listen, please! Patrick, get the fuck out!
Tashi faces a difficult time in recovery. She feels condescended to when Art goes easy on her during their informal session. He steps his game up, but when she dives for the ball and misses, she limps back to her starting position and takes her anger, frustration, and sadness out on her racket. Tashi spent her entire life building up this career as a tennis prodigy, and it was all taken away from her with a single injury. A few years later, Art and Tashi meet up in Cincinnati. He's playing at a tournament, and she's training another competitor. Art invites her to be his assistant coach, but Tashi is hesitant. Does he still love her? Art assures her that he wants her on his team because he wants to win. They reminisce about Patrick.
I think you beat him now if you guys played. Don't you think?
Art is uncertain. They haven't played professionally and don't keep in touch. Tashi admits to being a homewrecker. Somewhat sloshed, our winning pair go to the parking lot, and after like 4 years of waiting, Art finally gets to have Tashi all to himself. In the present day, Tashi and Art have built a tennis empire and have a child who is seemingly always siphoned away to grandma. Patrick, meanwhile, is slumming it, playing small tournaments and sleeping in his car, or manipulating his way into desperate women's beds. The check-in lady is kind enough to donate half her breakfast sandwich to our poor little white boy and informs Zweig that the wild card at the New Rochelle Challenger, sponsored by Phil's Tire Town, is none other than Art Donaldson. Patrick is on a date with his yet-to-be-informed Airbnb host when he catches a glimpse of Tashi and golden retrievers his way into talking to her. She rejects him, but he stalks the lobby of her hotel anyway and manages to secure a real conversation with her, one with cigarettes in a back alley. Patrick wants Tashi as a coach. He has one good season left in him. Again, she rejects him. Zweig is barely cracking the men's top 300. He may have been talented when they were teenagers, which, did anyone buy the 90-year-old actors playing 20-year-olds? But Zweig was only ever interested in using tennis to avoid adult responsibilities. He never had a dream of actually accomplishing anything. Patrick's parting barbs a reminder about what happened 8 years ago in Atlanta. Zweig confronts Donaldson in the sauna after over a decade of radio silence between the two. We learn that Tashi and Patrick had an affair in Atlanta, and the boys debate about who should be more embarrassed to be a Phil's Tire Town finalist. Art, who is arguably too high status to be there, or Patrick, who is a permanent resident of these smaller tournaments. Zweig tries to open up a line of dialogue with his old friend.
I wanted to say that I'm looking forward to it. That I miss playing with you.
But Donaldson shoots him down. Back at the hotel, Art wants to know that whether or not he wins the match with Patrick, he wants to know that Tashi loves him no matter what. Tashi gives him an opaque response.
What am I, Jesus?
Yeah.
Art goes on to say that he's retiring after this season. He's still going to try for the Open, but he's tired. The end is nigh, but the game is up. Tashi accepts this without rebuke, but Art finds this suspicious. He says that he knows he's been playing for the both of them, and he wants her to coach him. In response, she threatens to leave him if he doesn't win the match tomorrow. Except Tashi doesn't actually want to leave her husband. She meets with Patrick and asks him to throw the match. Art just needs this confidence boost so he can go on to win the Open. And to his credit, Patrick defends Art.
I can't believe you do this to him. I mean, fucking me would be one thing, but this is unforgivable.
They bicker some more as foreplay and eventually start making out before having a nostalgic fuck in the back of Patrick's grimy car. Afterwards, Zweig agrees to throw the match. The boys finally reunite on the tennis court, where the sexual and emotional tension of the last 13 years plays out during an intense match. Zweig non-verbally asserts that he slept with Donaldson's wife. Art gets mad, Tashi gets confused and nervous, and Patrick just enjoys the chaos. After a moment of taking everything in, Art realizes that this whole thing has just been a game, and he serves the ball. The boys engage in a heated volley that ends with Art jumping over the net and into Patrick's arms. The pair engage in a passionate embrace, while homewrecker Tashi screams in triumph from the stands. Her two white boys are finally reunited. Each person in our trio doms someone else in the group. Patrick is Art's sub, Art is Tashi's sub, and Tashi is Patrick's bratty sub. Everyone here has a slightly different angle in their power play. Patrick lives in the now. His manipulation tactics work for short-term gains. Art plays the long game. Incidental losses don't matter as long as he wins in the end. And Tashi just wants to see some good tennis, which is to say, she just wants to see some good interpersonal human drama play out. Art follows Tashi around like a little lost puppy. He is constantly telling her that he loves her, but Tashi never quite reciprocates this affection.
I love you.
I know.
The reason she and Patrick break up early in the film is because he refuses to take on her guidance.
I'm your peer. I'm your fucking groupie, and I'm definitely not your student.
But Art, he's happy to take Tashi's advice, and together they build prosperous careers. His wife is all tennis all the time, so Art gets nervous before telling Tashi he's ready to retire, but she's immediately accepting of it. When they're fighting in the alley, Patrick tells Tashi that Art is too afraid of upsetting her to retire. As it turns out, Tashi is a good dom. She doesn't push her sub past what he's willing to do, but she is sad about it. Her dream of being an exceptional tennis player dies with Art, and if he doesn't get the confidence boost from defeating Patrick, he's not going to win the Open. Tashi and Patrick's relationship is built on contention. They snarl and gnash their teeth at each other. They challenge one another intellectually. And though Tashi both spits on and slaps Patrick, they build up all this residual sexual tension, and she always gives way to his scruffy charm. And this is not about hurting Art. There's actually this whole thing where Tashi and Patrick hold their hands out so Art can spit their gum into their outstretched palms. They love and care about their boy. They just need a little spitfire action on the side. It's kind of the perfect arrangement, as long as all parties are cool with it, and Art does seem to be cool with it by the end of the film. And arguably, Patrick and Tashi are the shoulders upon which Art stands to become a tennis giant. Controversial opinion, I'm not entirely convinced that Art is gay or bi. Patrick, though, he has a pretty fluid sexuality. He's the one who's fairly handsy with his buddy. He touches Art's knee when they're checking out Tashi. While they're making out, Zweig reaches for Donaldson's head, and then afterwards slaps his BFF's hard but Bimo. Patrick manipulates the seating arrangement so that he can be more intimate with his crush during the churro scene. He wraps his arm lovingly around Art, who eventually pushes him aside. In the sauna, Art very directly tells Patrick to put his dick away, and who catches who during the finale? The reason the boys don't keep in touch is not because Patrick's girlfriend of like a year kicked him out. It's because his long-term crush rejected him.
Patrick, get the fuck out!
And Art may consciously or subconsciously enjoy the flirty attention Patrick lavishes upon him. He might actually be the unicorn straight guy who feels flattered rather than threatened when another man makes eyes at him. And no, the makeout scene is a red herring. Art is in it to win it being Tashi's number. At the end of the day, sexuality is a spectrum. It's not binary. Blah, blah, blah. But Patrick is definitely pining after Art, and it is a one-way street. Art gives Patrick shit about never growing up, and about having so much at stake at Phil's Tire Town Challenger. He squandered all his talent just to end up in the lower echelon of men's tennis. During their final match, Donaldson has a fresh racket, a coordinated outfit, and those yuppie squeezy protein things, while Zweig has a banana, this mess of an ensemble, and his sweaty charm. And it's not like Patrick has to live his life this way. As Tashi says,
Go home, ask your parents for a seat on the board, or you know what, matter of fact, ask them for some money. Okay? Go be like any other spoiled kid who has ever mounted to nothing in their fucking life, and stop this performance of being a down-on-your-luck professional.
So about that, Tashi might actually be wrong about her on-again, off-again lover being a performative hobo. Patrick swipes through potential Airbnb matches on his cracked phone and pauses on a man for half a second before scrolling through. It's unclear whether or not Patrick is open with himself about his sexuality. He probably is, considering his boisterous dick-forward energy.
I'd let her fuck me with a racket.
But there's definitely some stigma around queerness in their world. Tashi implies that her parents didn't send her to boarding school because they thought it could influence her to be gay. According to the research I conducted in my own mind, queer kids are the most likely group to be disowned by their families. Tashi's mom is in the picture, and Art's grandma gave them her engagement ring. Zweig's family isn't mentioned outside of just existing, and at one point, Patrick acknowledges that he's a piece of shit. Like, everyone in the trio is roughly equal when it comes to their shittiness. But in saying this, Patrick implies that he is less than his crush and his revolving door lover. Is this some internalized, self-hating homophobia stemming from a falling out with his family, or just some intermittent shame about being a talented person without much success? Admittedly, this theory about the Zweigs is stretching the bounds of subtext, but this is the internet. Leave me alone. Anyway, feel free to play some mind games in the comments. Bye.